I pottered around, tidying in that way you do when there's nothing in particular that needs to be tidied. I watered the pot plants on my dressers, made sure the kettle was turned off at the switch. I hadn't bothered to pack an overnight bag. He said I wouldn't need it. He was going to spoil me and buy me everything brand new. I felt a flutter in my stomach I hadn't felt for years, a blush of desire through my innocence. I was hardly a child, but I felt giddy with excitement of my adventure with this man. Life had been on standstill for too long. It was time to live. The car gave a toot, bringing me back to reality. I stole a glance at myself in the mirror as I dashed out the front, a spring in my step. I looked radiant, beautiful even. My gray eyes sparkled with a gleam of happiness that I hadn't seen for a long time. The man's eyes said as much when he saw me. He told me I looked just lovely and rushed out to close the car door for me, so it began, our journey. He drove slow, carefully, through the small town I had spent my whole life in. We drove past the diner where my mother and then I had worked. We drove past the primary school where I had learned how to play skip rope and write poems. When we passed the sign that thanked us for visiting the small town, the air grew cooler. I noticed all of a sudden that the sun had set, revealing the glimmering stars in the night sky. It's time. The man's hand was smooth and soft. I stared at it, wrapped in my own wrinkled hand. I saw myself as a child, as a young woman, a wife, a mother, a widow. I felt the weight of my 87 years ease, bones becoming lighter, my joints unstiffening until I was pain-free. I had not stopped for death, but he had stopped for me and brought me to the place where I would spend eternity.